Welcome back to a brand new season of All Access. Today we will be discussing playoff season here in Glassboro. Both Rowan basketball teams preparing for the NJAC playoffs and both Rowan track teams preparing for the NJAC championships. We also have a new segment for all you sports bettors out there, Double J, Double Down. And then after that, we'll go on the couch with Jordan, Sam, and Greg. All that and more on All Access. Welcome back to All Access, live from Bozarth Hall. We are here to update you on the most relevant stories in sports today. I'm Nick Rizzo.
And I'm Aiden Dougherty, and we are back. It's been a year since we've been on this show.
Hey,
Sorry,
technically, some would say.
Had to crack the joke. We're in February, so I apologize. But pitchers and catchers reported, NBA All-Star Weekend up, and got a new segment that we're going to be talking about in a little bit. But up first, as always, Rowan sports are getting hot right now.
Yeah, Rowan sports are getting hot indeed. Rowan men's basketball, the #1 seed in the NJAC playoffs. Rowan women's basketball back in the postseason to defend their title as well. And hey, last time we were pretty high on the Sixers. Last time we were here, a lot's happened since then. You know, the trade deadline. You know, Embiid out for a couple months now, but hey, you know, maybe there's still some hope if Embiid can come back healthy come playoff time. But
I'm still here.
I'm still here.
Buddy Hield fan club up here.
Yeah, still watching the games, but Buddy Hield's been on a tear, so hey, it hasn't been all bad for us Sixers fans. But without further ado, let's jump into some Rowan sports. Rowan women's basketball dropped their regular season finale on Wednesday night against Montclair State, 66-62. The Profs went into the fourth quarter down 12 and went on a late run in the fourth, but it ultimately wasn't enough to get it done. But you would have thought Kate Herlihy and Sabrina Arujo were the Splash Brothers in the prime of Golden State's dynasty, as the duo made all 7 of Rowan's threes throughout the game. Arujo finished with 14 points, one shy of her career high, and Herlihy did everything she could to try and will the Profs to a win, scoring 12 of her 19 points in the second half. The loss didn't truly matter, though, as Kate Pearson's squad still clinched the 6th and final NJAC playoff spot. And in order to defend their conference title from last season, the women will need to go on a Miami Heat-like run from last year, emerging victorious from the basement of the playoff bracket.
And now switching it over to the Rowan men's basketball team. They finished the season Wednesday night with a loss against Montclair State in double overtime, 113-110. But it didn't matter because on Saturday they went up to Rutgers Newark and got a massive win. It was senior night for the Scarlet Raiders, and Russell Ayala hit a game-tying contested three with 14 seconds to go. Head coach Eric Brendan decided to trust his team and not use a timeout. Booty Butler responded to that and brought it across, dribbled inside the arc, and then stopped on a dime and drilled a mid-range jumper with 2 seconds to go. The Profs hung on 69-67 to stay the #1 seed in the NJAC tournament. The Butler served up a game winner, and I must say, Booty Butler is that guy. A lot of people say it, and they aren't about it, but he sure is about it. And Rowan will now face the winner of TCNJ and Ramapo on Wednesday.
Over the weekend, Rowan men's track and field participated in the Valentine Invitational in Boston and the Big Apple Invitational in Staten Island. The hurdling team stole the show, as Jason Agyemang led the squad by finishing 6th overall in the 60-meter hurdles, clocking in at 8.11 seconds, one of the best times in all of Division III this year. Safe to say, he's a runner, he's a track star, and a big reason why Dustin Dimmitt's team is rolling into the NJAC championship on Monday with sky-high expectations.
Really like those vocals, Nick, as the Rowan women's indoor track team went to Staten Island as well for the Big Apple Invitational. Izzy Deal was dealing in the Big Apple with her 13.57-meter shot put throw that broke her own school record. She brought home the NJAC Women's Track Athlete of the Week. They also went up to Boston, for the Valentine Invitational this past weekend, where Maya Walker stole the show. Walker had a time of 26.85 seconds in the 200, and that's good enough for her own personal record as well. And next up for this squad is the NJAC Championship on February 19th, where they will go back to Staten Island at the Ocean Breeze Complex. And look, we have a lot of Rowan sports going on. We didn't even touch on softball returning next week. I'm sure we'll touch on that on the next show.
Absolutely.
And baseball, I mean, this time next week, baseball is getting ready to first pitch just outside these doors. So it's an exciting time. And, you know, Rowan, this men's basketball team and even the women's basketball team have some great shots to really make some noise.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The men's basketball team, we said it, #1 seed in the NJAC. It just made it to the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament, not just the NJACs. Of course, the men won it last season, made it to the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament. The women won it last season. So we have 2 basketball teams ready to defend their titles. And it's also very safe to say that both track teams are going in to the NJAC championships as heavy favorites. We'll see if they can get it done. And you know baseball and softball are going to have their expectations too. They always do.
Yeah, they both are top 15. Softball's top 5 and Rowan baseball just inside the top 15. But now let's throw it over to Justin and Jackson with a brand new segment here on All Access.
What's up, everybody? My name is Justin.
And I'm Jackson.
And we are bringing you Double J, Double Down, a sports betting segment where we're providing you with our locks of the week.
Double day, double down. I see what you did there.
I'm glad you like it. I'll let you start. What do you like this week?
Well, Justin, my bet is San Diego State -5.5 at home against New Mexico. I believe that this San Diego State team that is ranked 12-0 at home and 10th in defensive efficiency will be able to shut down a New Mexico team that has struggled on the road in conference play. What do you like?
Now, for me, I'm going to the NBA All-Star Weekend in Indianapolis, and I have Trae Young, now plus 600 to win the three-point contest. Young enters his 3rd three-point contest of his career. Last time out, he was 2nd place, and he lost to a center, Karl-Anthony Towns, and I think this is his year to pull it off.
My second bet is going to be Toledo -6.5 at home against Ohio. The big story here is an Ohio team that has struggled on the road. They're 2-6 on the road this year and have played subpar defense in all of those games. They're going up against a Toledo team that loves to push the pace and will take advantage of a weak defense, and I think that is what's going to happen tonight.
All right, so for me, heading back to the NBA All-Star Game, I'm going with the crazy one. I'm taking Pacers point guard Tyrese Halliburton plus 1,600 to win the All-Star Game MVP. It's in Indiana, and I think he's going to put on an all-time performance. Usually he doesn't go to the same guy every year. He's coming off an injury, but I feel like this is his time, and I feel like he's going to come to the occasion, and he's going to pop off.
That's all we have this week. If you plan on sports betting, please do so responsibly.
Let's throw it over to Jordan, Sam, and Greg on the couch.
Welcome back to our sports debate talk show on All Access. I'm your host, Jordan Weisinger, alongside Sam Prince and Greg Mazzo. Well, guys, the biggest topic of the last week in sports, the Kansas City Chiefs are Super Bowl 58 champions, defeating the San Francisco 49ers 25-22 in a thrilling overtime finish. Patrick Mahomes took home Super Bowl MVP for the 3rd time in his illustrious career. Are the Chiefs going to keep this dynasty going, and what does it mean for the 49ers going forward after another big postseason loss? Sam, I'll start with you.
Well, Jordan, let's start with the Chiefs. The Chiefs are absolutely going to keep their dynasty going. They still got one man and one man only in Patrick Mahomes. As long as they got Patrick Mahomes on their team, they can win any game, anytime. Look, next year, the Chiefs are going to keep their dynasty going, and they're going to win a three-peat for the first time in NFL history. They're going to have Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones is going to come back, Lenarius Sneed, we're not quite sure if Sneed's going to come back. But as long as you have Mahomes on your team, anything is possible. You can never count that man out. And 49ers side, I just don't think they're going to be back in the NFC Championship next year because you have teams like the Packers coming up. You have teams like the Lions. You have teams like the Eagles. And the Eagles had a down year. That the NFC was weak this year. You really thought from really like week 5 that you thought the NFC Championship was going to be really the Niners or the Eagles. Unfortunately for the Eagles, very happy for me that they went on a downfall. So there are really 2 good teams in the NFC. Now we're going to have 4 to 5 good teams in the Eagles, the Packers, and the Niners. I mean, and the Rams, you can't count them out. The Niners' divisional rival.
I mean, listen, everything you said, Sam, it's really hard to disagree with you because, like, yes, it's definitely a possibility that the Chiefs can three-peat next year. Will they? I'm not sure because obviously with the Bengals, you got Joe Burrow coming back. The Ravens are still going to be there. You got some of these other teams in the AFC. We know the AFC is still a little bit more loaded than the NFC, although we have seen teams like the Packers and the Rams. They're on the come-up. Those teams are going to get better. They're young. You know, Jordan Love is obviously a young, upsetting superstar quarterback. The Rams, you know, they have a nice window with what they had going on last year. It looked like, you know, the year before that, after the Super Bowl that they won, it didn't look like that they were going to be back with all the draft picks that they gave up, but they found a way to replace those players. So I think within the next couple of years, you're going to see the NFC start getting better with some of these teams. With the 49ers, I think their window, I think they might have a couple years because, like, if they don't win anything, you know, like the complete roster that they have, I don't know if they're going to be back either. But
Did you just say they're going to have a couple more years, and then you just said, I don't know if they're going to be back?
Well, no. I meant to. No, I said that I think the 49ers might have like a year or two left, but.
So the Niners are going against the Rams 2 times a year. They're going to have to play the Packers. Jordan Love's only getting better. They're going to have to play Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. They're going to have to play the Detroit Lions, who the Lions should have won that game if Dan Campbell just wasn't Dan Campbell.
I agree with that, but they still got to the Super Bowl and they still won that game though.
And they lost the Super Bowl against Patrick Mahomes.
Alrighty, guys, let's not get too heated with football. It was last week, so into something a little more relevant. The NBA All-Star Weekend kicks off tonight with the All-Star Celebrity Game and the Rising Stars Challenge. The Skills Challenges and Dunk Contests are tomorrow night, and the 73rd NBA All-Star Game will take place Sunday night. This year's brand new event is the Steph Curry versus Sabrina Ionescu 3-point challenge. Who, in your opinion, is going to win this, and how will this bring good exposure to the WNBA?
Well, I personally think that Sabrina Ionescu is going to beat Stephen Curry. This is going to be great exposure. More fans are going to watch WNBA. Sabrina Ionescu, who's the face of the WNBA, are going to get brand new fans who watch the NBA All-Star Game and be like, this Sabrina's a good basketball player. I want to watch her in more games.
So you're betting against the greatest shooter of all time in Stephen Curry? I don't know about that. I can't bet against the greatest shooter of all time in Stephen Curry. I mean, this guy is a 4-time NBA champion. The guy can shoot from anywhere. He can shoot from 35, 40 feet out like it's no problem. We've seen this many, many times with Steph Curry. I am not betting against him.
Those are both great points. I'd ask you, arguably one of the best players in the WNBA, Steph Curry, greatest shooter of all time. But to my second point of the All-Star Weekend, how do you think it compares to other sports, such as the Pro Bowl or maybe the MLB All-Star Week?
Personally, I think the NBA All-Star Game has gone down in the past couple years. The weekend, I'm sorry, not the day. But if you're talking about comparing to the MLB All-Star Week and the Pro Bowl weekend, I mean, it's no comparison to the MLB All-Star Week.
It's hard to disagree with that too, but I think the NFL Pro Bowl has grown once they got rid of that game and they started adding all these events like dodgeball and like you're having all these other celebrities. Like we saw Dan Orlovsky. I'm not saying that it compares to the MLB, but I think the NFL Pro Bowl has grown ever since they got rid of the Pro Bowl game.
As a big fan of the Pro Bowl, love watching it. But you're telling me you would not rather watch a home run derby than a dodgeball event?
No, I would rather watch the home run derby, but I'm saying the Pro Bowl has grown ever since they got rid of the Pro Bowl game. You're seeing that they're adding all these events, and I think they're only going to get better with it.
Those are both great points. Me personally, I love the MLB All-Star Week. Baseball is my favorite sport. But that'll do it for the Sports Debate Talk Show here on All Access. I've been your host, Jordan Weisinger, alongside me, Sam Prince and Greg Mazzo. Thank you guys for tuning in.